Hi, my name is Sherry Masters, and I'm the Instructional Technology Coach for the Richland School District. And today's video is basically called Tour of Canvas Platform Navigation, which, if you're new to Canvas, it is just an introduction to the navigation that you see on the left side when you bring up your dashboard. So there's two kinds of navigation. There's platform and course. And so what I call platform is going to be everything that's over here on the side, and that usually affects the platform as a whole for the most part. Course navigation is the navigation you see when you open up a course, and that's a separate video. So let's get started. At the very top is your account. And so if I click on your account, you'll notice it has my name. And then it has some things on here that we're going to take a look at. Some of these you're not going to need, but the other ones you might. And so the first thing I want to do is click on notifications. And notifications basically lets you decide how often you get emailed. Now, I happen to have Canvas on another device, so it's asking about other devices. But you'll notice this is my school district email, and what it'll do is it'll email me when certain things happen. Now you have two choices. You can adjust the settings for individual courses, or you can adjust for the entire account. And basically what you do is you click on the icon, so you can either notify immediately, daily, weekly, or nothing. And of course, you'll notice I have nothing. But there's a whole bunch of stuff down here that you can take a look at. Different choices. If you want, when students schedule for an appointment, when you have different notifications, I choose to turn it all off because, well, I really don't want to be notified. But if you did, here's where you would turn that on. Okay. The next thing we're going to take a look at is your profile. There are a couple things that you can adjust on your profile. Now, for some reason, the rest of the words on mine don't show up, but you should have some three dots, probably says edit. And there we go. You can edit your profile. You can put in a biography. You can add links. You can edit your picture. You notice I have my little emoji picture there. Where it says Cheryl, I could, I'm trying to remember, nope, I'm stuck with Cheryl unless I have someone fix it for me, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Leave it where it is. Once you make the changes, you just click on Save Profile. Okay. The next thing are your files. Every time you bring a picture in, the old file page, because this is a new file page, of course it is. Every time you add images, maybe you have a screenshot on your home page, or you're using little Bitmoji or whatever, it's going to be saved in your files. And one of the important things that you're going to need to know is that when you import content from a previous year, if you decide to select content, please always choose files so that it brings along all those images in your quizzes and your assignments, and then you don't have to go find them again and re-upload them into something. So files is one thing you always want to bring from a previous course. And I have quite a few. You're going to notice that. But it's all stuff that I've used before, and now I have access to still. Okay, so there's files. Click on my name. Let's get out of here again. Settings. So settings, you'll notice again I have other devices. Really the only thing you can edit on settings would be the language and your time zone, which probably want to keep as is. But if you did update them, that's great. Notice it says pair with an observer. That would mean pairing your course with somebody else. So please don't do that. And if you have students in the Richland School District, please create a personal Canvas parent account. Do not tie your students to your school district account. That gets to be problematic later on. Another way, of course, you'll notice that's how I log in, and I have a test student so that I can go practice things. You'll probably notice that this is the Canvas test installation. So basically it's our beta version where I can go and mess around and I don't have to worry about hurting anyone's account, including my own. One of the important things is web services. If Google Drive is over here under other services, you would click on Google Drive. It'll say, do you want to authorize? Please say yes. Then it'll say, is this your email address? And then it'll ask you allow, and you'll say yes. And what happens is Google Drive gets moved from this side to this side. It just cements that conversation between your Google Drive and your Canvas, especially if you're using Google artifacts and links in your Canvas courses. Approved integrations, don't worry about that. We're going to skip it, but we are going to come down to the bottom where there are some feature options, auto show, closed captions, course tutorial. That's where that little sidebar on the right pops up and says, hey, this is what you do when you're here. If you want it, great. If you don't, turn it off. Notice mine's turned off. High contrast, the immersive reader, open items in a new tab, open to do items, excuse me, and then other things. So you're welcome to turn things on or turn things off as you need them. Not a problem. Okay, going back to the side, ePortfolios, we're going to skip that. And we're going to go to shared content. There is a separate video on how to share content. If someone shares content with you, you'll get a little number here up by your image. You'll click on shared content, and then the actions, you can preview it, and then you can import the shared content into your course, and there is a video and a handout on how to send and receive shared content. So you're welcome to go check that out. Classcraft, we don't even use that, and I'm not sure why it's still there. The QR for mobile login, that basically is for if you had an Observer account, which we shouldn't here. And then global announcements. These are all the large announcements that show up on your dashboard. And so if you close one and then you've missed it, but you want to go back to it, this is where you'll find it. And here's the current one from Libby, and here's some recent ones. And because of my job, I get a lot of them. So most of them end up here because I will exit them out so I don't have them covering my screen. All right, moving forward, this is the admin button. Guarantee you most of you will not have the admin button, so we're going to skip that one. Dashboard. So this is your dashboard. This is where your course cards are going to be. The dashboard does have two looks. If you find the word dashboard and then move over to the three dots, you're going to notice that you can have card view, you can have list view. Students seem to like list view. Personally for me, not my favorite, but if this is what you like, go for it. And then the other thing is recent activity. So anything that you've done recently, that will be here as well. And I'm going to go back to card view. You'll notice there is a to-do list of things that maybe need to be taken care of off to the side. Things like grading. Once the semester starts, if you have any grading that needs to be done, they will be here on the side as well. Courses, all courses. Now, let me stop right here first. So everything that's been published is going to be here. So if you're moving quickly from course to course, and you're in a course, this is a great way to move to the next course without having to click dashboard and then click on the course card. You can use this here. These are all my unpublished courses. So they might be my sandbox courses or my template courses down here. If I have many years of teaching, which I do, I can go to all courses and it will list all my courses. So these would be current ones that are open at this time. You'll notice some of them are starred. That's because the ones that are starred I'd like to see on my dashboard. If they're not starred, they probably won't show up on my dashboard. So that's a thought. If a student comes to you and says, hey, Miss or Mr., I can't see your course on my dashboard, go to courses, all courses, and double check that the course has been starred. And then, of course, if I go down, keep going down, you'll see past enrollments. And then these are all my older courses. So these are from past grading periods. Okay. All right. Go back up. Now I'm going to go to calendar. So every time you make an artifact, whether it's a discussion, a page, an assignment, an external tool, or a URL that had a due date, it is going to show up on your calendar. Okay. Now, the thing you can do with your calendar is if you end up with a lot of stuff on your calendar, and you're going to notice I've added more things to dial into maybe a particular class. So maybe I want to dial into my Canvas 101, Oh, there they go. Past ones have lines indicating they're past, obviously. For me, today's the 20th. But let's say I just want to dial in on the tan one or the reddish colored one. What I can do is I can delete the color for all the rest. And now all I can see, oop, I must have missed one. Yeah, I did. And you'll notice now all I can see are the tan ones, which correspond to my second semester, 7th grade math class. And so I can dial into just what I need to see. And then, of course, all I have to do is click the colors to make everything come back. Students are known to do this, to say, hey, I don't really have any homework. When they really do have homework, it's a way to see there's nothing due, but it's usually the colors. And so if I've contacted by parents, I usually warn them that that is a thing that kids often will do to hide the fact that they might have homework and something's due. You are welcome to use the calendar with your name. This would be my calendar, and if I wanted to, I could add an item that would automatically go to my calendar, or I can assign it to a calendar within a course. But if it's mine and maybe I have an appointment, I can create an appointment or something for myself, and I can put that on my calendar. And again, I'm the only one who will see it. So unlike being able to see all my courses, the one with my name on it, I'm the only one who can see it. Much like students have that same option of creating their own appointments, assignments for themselves, and they're the only ones who would see that. No one else will. Okay, this is the inbox. You can email through Canvas. To create a new, you can compose an email here, select your course. You can select students, do a subject, a message. I'm not going to do students because if I have students in my course, you would see their names. So for privacy reasons, I'll just leave that alone. And then I write my message, and then I hit send down here, and I apologize, it's hidden by the pink. Okay. The one thing I will warn you about is with Canvas email is that we can't, as IT, we cannot track email streams. So if you have students who are bullying another student, they can send an email, but if it's deleted, we can't track it, which is why we usually ask that you use Outlook as a way to communicate. History. History is a great way to go back and forth within your course. If I was in an assignment in one course and I wanted to copy something there to a completely different course, so let's say I was teaching art and PE, why I would be, but maybe I would be. I can click on my art class, get whatever I needed, and then click on my PE class because I've been moving back and forth. And it's a quicker way than having to go dashboard, course card. There you go. And if you've been in an assignment itself, it will take you to that actual assignment. So, and you'll notice recent history unavailable in beta. This is the beta version, so I can't actually click on anything. But in the normal Canvas, this is a great way to go. Studio. Studio is Canvas's version of Screencastify, what I'm using right now. You can create studio captures, Screencast-O-Matic, think Screencastify, or you can upload media. Studio captures, like you can videotape yourself. So we used to have, and the name escapes me, but that feature that the kids could make little videos of themselves and then they could share it, and then it kind of went away. And now it's connected with Microsoft, so we can't use it anymore, and it'll come to me later. But that way they can answer questions and items within Canvas if you let them using the studio capture. So they'd make a video of themselves. Screencast-O-Matic does what I'm doing now. It allows you to record what's going on in Canvas or on your computer in general. So it is a Canvas version of Screencastify. Okay. And then adding media allows you to bring in videos. And so there's one of me that I made, but here's some videos I brought in. I could have my library. And so here's a practice group, and I've got videos in there from my library, things I can share with my students. And it's a great way, if you bring it into the library, Canvas right now is working on the ability to slow down the streaming. So students with not robust Wi-Fi at home can still access videos if you bring them into Canvas Studio first. before putting them in your course. And it is an easy way to add something to your course by having them housed here in Canvas Studio. All right. Commons. Commons, basically, this is stuff that's free. People have chosen to upload their content. You can look it up by title, institution, whatever. I think our Growing with Canvas was here. There are templates in here. There are courses. There are information. Here's like a rainbow course template. You never know what you're going to find in here. So sometimes it is worth looking. Anything in here is free to use. That's why it's here. So it's common content, meaning that they've put it here purposely for others to use without worrying about copyright issues. Okay. The last thing that I'm going to talk about, because nobody but me has Pronto. We don't know why. I'm just lucky, I guess. But is the help. So search Canvas guides. Canvas has a ton of guides. I'm sure you're saying to yourself, wait, if Canvas has guides, why are you making videos and handouts? They have a tendency to be a bit wordy. They're not always helpful. They have a lot of stuff. They have numbers. Sometimes it's unexplanatory. Doesn't look like ours. You get the idea. But you can use them if you wish. There are student guides to help students. You can chat with Canvas support, and they do have a 1833 number if you needed to get a hold of them. Also down here at the bottom, you'll notice that there are what they call release notes. So these are new things that Canvas is putting forward, and you can click on them to find out what's new and coming in Canvas. And so that too can be very helpful. Although it can also not be very helpful. And if you're really not interested, then no worries. And that's pretty much it for, hopefully I didn't go too fast. But it does at least give you a sort of overview of what I like to call the platform navigation along the side and some of the things that it can do for you. There is an accompanying handout that you are welcome to take a look at as well. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Alrighty, I really appreciate you hanging out with me, and thanks for watching.